Have you ever felt like there's something inside of you, something ancient, powerful, and eternal that's been sleeping, waiting for the right moment to stir? What if I told you that there is a force within you so vast, so incomprehensibly mighty, that if you could tap into it, your entire reality would change, not just in how you live, but in how you experience existence itself? This is not a metaphor. This is not poetry. I'm talking about something real, hidden deep in your being. And I call it the Omega Power. You have this Omega Power, but you don't know it yet. Most of us don't. We walk through life like dreamers, hypnotized by the noise, the chaos, the expectations. But deep beneath the layers of conditioning, beyond the fear, the ego, and the noise of the world, there is a core of pure, unbreakable awareness. I've seen glimpses of it in the eyes of monks who've meditated in caves for decades. I've felt it in the silence of ancient temples where time itself seems to stop. And I've discovered it unexpectedly while simply watching the breath rise and fall in a single moment of true stillness. The Omega Power is not something you acquire. It's something you remember. But here's the paradox. You are already it. You don't need to become anything new. You just have to unlearn everything that made you forget. The world taught you to be small, to seek validation, to fear death, to chase meaning where there is only illusion. But what if I told you you were never meant to chase anything? What if you were meant to wake up and see the infinite, not out there, but right here inside of you? I'm not talking about philosophy. I'm not preaching religion. I'm talking about direct knowing, raw, unfiltered. Like when you stare into the void and the void stares back and suddenly you realize you are the void. You are the light. You are the witness and the witnessed. And once you taste that knowing, even for a second, you will never be the same. You'll never again settle for a life of mediocrity, of fake smiles and shallow pursuits. You'll want something real, because you'll know what real feels like. So why don't we know this yet? Why do we live our lives as if we're powerless, broken, incomplete? It's because we've been programmed. From the moment we were born, we were told stories about who we are, what's possible, what's not. We inherited fears that weren't ours. We adopted identities like clothes, forgetting we were never the clothes. We were the being wearing them. The Omega Power is the truth behind all lies. It's the light behind all shadows, the silence behind all noise. But you have to be willing to stop, to question, to go inward. That's the hardest part. Not because it's difficult, but because the world is constantly distracting you from doing it. Have you ever really sat still in silence? Not for 5 minutes, but for 5 hours? Have you dared to ask yourself, who am I? Really? Not just the name, the job, the role? But underneath all that, who watches the thoughts? Who feels the emotions? Who hears this inner voice as I speak to you now? Let me share something that changed my life. Years ago, I locked myself in a cabin. No phone, no books, just silence. For 7 days, I faced myself. And what I found terrified me at first. I found fear, loneliness, anger. But then something unexpected happened. On the 4th day, in the middle of absolute stillness, something opened. I don't know what to call it except the Omega Presence. It wasn't a voice. It wasn't a vision. It was just knowing without knowing. An intelligence that wasn't mine, but also was. It said nothing, yet it screamed truth into every cell of my being. I realized I had been sleepwalking through life, and that what I thought was me was just the surface, a mask. But beneath that mask was a vast ocean of awareness that had always been there, always waiting, watching, patiently, like a parent watching their child play dress-up, waiting for them to remember who they truly are. Now I ask you, are you ready to remember? Are you ready to stop playing small? Because tapping into the Omega Power is not about becoming special. It's about becoming real. It's about waking up from the dream of separation. It's about burning every illusion you've ever held on to and standing naked in the light of your own being. And yes, it will feel like dying, but only the false parts of you die. What remains is truth, presence, power. Not power over others, but power within. The kind of power that needs no validation, no recognition. The kind of power that radiates silently like the sun. And once you awaken it, you can never go back. You'll walk differently. You'll speak differently. You'll live in alignment with something far greater than your personal desires. But let's get practical. How do you begin to activate this Omega power? The answer is simpler than you think. Start by doing nothing, truly nothing. Sit in silence every day without an agenda. Watch your breath, watch your thoughts. Don't try to change them, just observe. The Omega power awakens not when you force it, but when you create the space for it to emerge, like a flower blooming in silence. And in that silence, something will shift. It may take days, weeks, months, but one day you'll feel it, the subtle current of being that's always been flowing beneath the noise. You'll feel yourself as the observer, not the observed. And from that place, life becomes sacred again. Every moment becomes a miracle, every breath a prayer. Now pause and ask yourself, what are you afraid of finding in the silence? What are you running from in your own mind? What identity are you clinging to that might not even be real? These are not surface-level questions. These are doorways. And if you have the courage to walk through them, you'll discover what monks, mystics, sages, and spiritual warriors have always known. That the greatest treasure is hidden in the one place we refuse to look within. And once you find it, you won't need anything else. Not fame, not money, not approval, because you will be rooted in the infinite. And from that place, you can create anything. You can serve, love, lead, and transform others, not from ego, but from essence. That is the Omega power. And you already have it. You've just forgotten. The awakening storm, when the Omega power starts to rise within you. If you're still listening, something inside you already knows. Something ancient, something vast. It's not just curiosity that brought you here, it's a calling. A whisper from the depths of your being that says, it's time. Time to awaken what has been dormant for far too long. You see, the Omega power doesn't come with fireworks or lightning bolts, at least not at first. It begins with a tremble, a subtle shift in the way you perceive, a crack in the illusion. You might be walking down the street and suddenly feel as though you're watching a dream unfold. You might catch your reflection and see a stranger staring back, only to realize that stranger is the real you, peeking through. This is the beginning of the storm. The beginning of the breakdown and the breakthrough. Because when the Omega power begins to rise, it doesn't just elevate you, it dismantles the false you, piece by piece, thought by thought. It peels away everything you thought you were, so that the eternal you can finally return to the throne. But don't mistake this awakening for comfort. The Omega power is not here to make you feel safe. It's here to make you free, and freedom is terrifying when you've lived your whole life in a cage. Imagine a bird born in captivity. One day the cage door opens. The sky is vast, endless, yet the bird hesitates. Why? Because even prison can become familiar, and that's what happens to us. We become so identified with our pain, our trauma, our stories, that the idea of letting them go feels like death. But the Omega power doesn't negotiate with fear. It burns it. It demands that you step into the unknown, not because you're fearless, but because something inside you is finally more alive than afraid. You will cry. You will scream. You will want to go back. But you won't, because once you taste even a droplet of your true being, nothing else will satisfy you again. That is the cost of awakening and the gift. So how do you endure this inner storm? How do you not lose yourself in the chaos of becoming? The answer is paradoxical. By surrendering, you don't fight the Omega power. You merge with it. You allow it to move through you even when it shatters your identity. You learn to die a little every day, not physically but spiritually. You let go of the masks, the illusions, the need to be seen a certain way. And in that surrender, you begin to see clearly for the first time. You realize that life isn't happening to you, it's happening through you. That every challenge is not a punishment but a portal. That every person who triggers you is a mirror. That every loss is a clearing. And suddenly you stop complaining about your life and start listening to it. Because you understand, the Omega power doesn't just give you strength, it gives you vision. Not the kind that sees the world as it is, but as it could be. As it truly is, beyond the veil. Let me ask you something. What would you become if you stopped pretending? If you stopped shrinking to fit into someone else's story? If you stopped apologizing for your power, your light, your truth? What would happen if you let the Omega power fully express itself through you? Would you paint? Would you heal? Would you lead a revolution of consciousness? We all have different callings, but the source is the same. The Omega power is creative, destructive, and reborn in every breath. It doesn't care about your past. It only cares about your presence. And when you are present, truly present, you become a channel for the infinite. You become a vessel for something greater than yourself. And that's when miracles begin. Not the kind of miracles that defy physics, but the kind that defy expectation. You start to live with such authenticity that everything around you begins to realign. People feel your energy and are changed by it. Not because you're trying, but because you're being. Now let's go deeper. The Omega power doesn't just transform you, it reveals you as the source. We've been taught to look outside for our answers, for God, for salvation, for love. But what if the one you've been praying to has been living inside you all along? What if the cathedral is your breath, the temple is your body, the altar is your attention? This isn't blasphemy. This is the deepest reverence. Because when you realize that divinity lives in you, not just metaphorically, but literally, you stop outsourcing your power. You stop chasing gurus and start honoring the guru within. And from that place, your entire relationship to life changes. You no longer seek to escape the world, you seek to transform it. Not from ego, but from essence. Because when the Omega power rises, compassion rises with it. Wisdom rises with it. Responsibility rises with it. You realize you are not separate from anything, and that changes everything. But beware. As this power awakens, the ego will fight back, hard. It will whisper, "You're going crazy." It will say, "This is too much." It will try to pull you back into the comfort of conformity. But you must remember, the ego is not evil. It's just afraid. It believes it must protect you from annihilation. So speak to it with love. Say, "Thank you for trying to keep me safe, but I'm ready now." And keep going, keep breathing, keep surrendering. Because every time you choose presence over panic, truth over comfort, awareness over reaction, you reclaim a piece of your power. And eventually the ego stops fighting. It bows. It becomes the servant instead of the master. And that's when you begin to live not as a fragment, but as the whole. There's one more thing I must tell you. The Omega power doesn't belong to you. It is you. But it also belongs to all of us. When you awaken, you don't just awaken for yourself. You awaken for your ancestors, for your children, for the planet. Every step you take into truth clears the path for someone else. You become a lighthouse in a storm of forgetfulness. And that is no small thing. That is sacred. That is the real definition of service. Not sacrifice, but remembrance. So don't think your journey is insignificant. Every time you choose love over fear, awareness over distraction, you are shifting the collective field. You are helping humanity reawaken. And maybe that's why you're here. Maybe that's why you've always felt a little different. Because you came to anchor something ancient, something new. You came to embody the Omega power in a world that has forgotten who it is. So ask yourself now, what would it mean to live as if you were already whole? As if nothing was missing? As if you were the answer you've been searching for all along? This is not a dream. This is your invitation. The Omega power is waiting, not in some distant future, not in a book, not in a teacher, but right now, in your breath, in your stillness, in your courage to look within. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. You'll walk through this world like a secret sun, shining silently, knowing who you are, even if no one else does. Especially if no one else does, because that's how revolutions begin, quietly, deeply, from within. The final unveiling, embodying the Omega power in every breath, every step, every moment. Now that the storm has passed through you, now that the veil has been torn even slightly, you begin to feel something astonishing, stillness that lives beneath all movement. You begin to understand that awakening isn't a one-time event, it's a continuous unfolding. The Omega power doesn't just rise once and stay risen. No, it's alive. It breathes with you. It expands as you expand. It deepens as you deepen. And the more you surrender to it, the more it integrates into every cell of your being. You start to notice the subtle ways it shows itself, in how you listen without needing to speak, in how you respond instead of react, in how you can feel the emotions of others without becoming them. You begin to walk through the world like a mirror, reflecting truth, love, and presence back to everyone you meet. And not because you're trying, but because the Omega power is now living through you. You've become the flute, and the divine breath is playing its silent song. But here's the deeper truth. This isn't about superhuman abilities. This isn't about glowing auras or levitating or knowing the secrets of the universe. It's about embodiment. It's about anchoring the divine into the ordinary. Washing dishes with pure presence, hugging someone with every fiber of your awareness, sitting in traffic and smiling, not because you enjoy it, but because you've transcended resistance. That's the real power, because anyone can feel spiritual in a mountain cave, but can you feel God in a grocery store line? Can you feel the sacred in the sound of your own heartbeat? Can you recognize the Omega power in the person who frustrates you most? That is the final challenge, to bring the infinite into the finite, to live as the eternal in the temporary. And when you do, you become a bridge between heaven and earth, between silence and sound, between what is and what could be. Let me give you something practical. If you want to deepen this embodiment, start practicing radical presence. Every moment you find yourself drifting into thought, come back. Anchor in your body. Feel your feet. Hear the sounds around you. Watch the breath. This is not spiritual escapism. This is spiritual discipline. Because presence is the portal. Every time you return to it, you're saying yes to life. Yes to the Omega power. Yes to the truth that's been waiting to awaken. And don't be discouraged by how often you forget. That's part of the journey. Each moment of forgetting is just another opportunity to remember. And the more you remember, the more the remembering becomes your natural state. Until even your forgetting is held within awareness. Until even your pain becomes sacred. Until even your shadow becomes your teacher. Now let's go even deeper. There will come a moment, and it may already be happening, when you realize that you are not on the path. You are the path. The road you've been walking has always been inside you. Every step, every detour, every heartbreak, every miracle, It was all your own being guiding you back to itself. And when you see that, a new level of freedom emerges. You forgive faster, you love deeper, you let go easier. Not because you're trying to be a good person, but because you've seen through the illusion of separation. You realize there's no one to blame, no one to fight, no enemy outside of your own mind. And from that place, you begin to live in alignment with something far greater than your personal will. You become a servant of the mystery, a lover of the now, a guardian of truth, and your life begins to guide others not through preaching but through being. Do you feel it now? That subtle current running through this very moment? That tingling in your spine, that warmth in your chest, that deep breath that seems to breathe you? That's it. That's the Omega power whispering, I've always been here. And now you must ask yourself, will you honor it? Not just when it's easy, not just in meditation, but when life gets messy, when things fall apart, when you're knocked to your knees. Because the real test is not how high you can go, it's how deep you can stay when everything is shaking. Can you root in truth when the mind screams lies? Can you stay open when the heart wants to close? That's the moment the Omega power either gets buried again or fully ignites. And the choice is yours, every day, every breath, every thought. And this is where the paradox returns. Because even though it feels like a choice, it's also destiny. You were never meant to stay asleep. You were never meant to live in fear. The fact that you're hearing these words is proof. Something ancient in you has been activated. A memory older than time itself. A knowing that can't be taught but only remembered. And this remembrance is not just for you. It's for the world. Because the world is starving not for more information but for embodied wisdom, for people who live what they know, for humans who are not just awake, but awake in action. That's the next step, to bring your awakening into your relationships, your work, your art, your silence. Joe Chouse, let the Omega power ripple through your reality like a silent revolution. Let me tell you a secret. The Omega power is love, not the emotional, conditional kind, but the love that is, the love that sees, holds, allows, transforms, the love that has no opposite. And when you realize that you are that love, everything changes. You stop trying to get love. You start giving it not from lack, but from overflow. And in that giving, you are fulfilled. In that surrender, you are empowered. In that emptiness, you are full. That is the ultimate irony. The more you let go of who you think you are, the more you become who you've always been. And that truth, that paradox, that dance, that is the final gift of the Omega power. It doesn't make you more. It reveals that you were never less. So now I leave you with one final question, one that only your soul can answer. What would your life look like if you fully remembered who you are? Not just for a moment, but for good. Not just in meditation, but in the marketplace. Not just in the light, but in the shadows. What would it mean to live with no masks, no fear, no resistance? What would it mean to walk as truth itself, to speak as love itself, to live as the Omega power embodied in human form? That is the path, that is the invitation. And that is your destiny. Not someday, not after more healing, not after more validation, but now, in this breath, in this moment, in this eternal now. The cosmic return, living as the Omega while still in human form. Now that you've felt the ripple, the tremble, the fire of the Omega power within you, the real journey begins. Not upward into some celestial realm, but downward, inward, deeper into the human experience. That's the final paradox. The more awakened you become, the more human you must be willing to be. The Omega power doesn't lift you out of the world, it roots you inside it, like a lightning rod that connects heaven and earth. You begin to realize that the ultimate act of transcendence is not escape, its embodiment. To feel the wind and know it as your breath. To look into another's eyes and see your own soul staring back. To cry with the pain of the world and still hold space for beauty. You are not here to float above the chaos. You are here to walk through it with grace, with power, with awareness that doesn't flinch. This is what it means to live as the Omega. But let's be honest, embodiment is not easy. It is not glamorous. It is not always peaceful. Sometimes it feels like you're being torn open, like every old wound is surfacing. And that's because it is. The Omega power does not allow anything false to remain hidden. It shines light into every crevice of your being, not to shame you, but to free you. You will meet your shadows. You will face your addictions, your attachments, your unspoken fears. But now, you will face them not as a victim, but as a conscious witness. You'll see that these patterns are not who you are. They are echoes of who you thought you were. And one by one, you'll begin to release them. Not by force, but by presence. Because the Omega power doesn't fight the darkness. It includes it. It integrates it. It transforms it by seeing it clearly, lovingly, without judgment. This is the sacred work. Not to become something other than human, but to become fully human. To walk with both the divine and the dirt in your hands. To be as comfortable in silence as you are in sorrow. To hold the entire spectrum of life in your heart without needing to numb, escape, or fix it. And in this way, you become the rarest kind of presence. A human being who has remembered their source. A force of nature that walks gently but carries the weight of eternity in their eyes. People will feel it. Animals will feel it. The earth itself will whisper to you, because you are no longer separate. You are aligned, harmonized. You've become the tuning fork that brings dissonant energies back into resonance. And you don't need to do anything special. Your presence is the medicine. Let's talk about impact. Because when the Omega power moves through you, your life becomes less about personal gain and more about cosmic service. Not in a sacrificial way, but in a natural way. You begin to live from the overflow. Your joy becomes contagious. Your peace becomes a sanctuary. Your words carry a frequency that awakens others, not by convincing, but by reminding. You'll notice synchronicities increasing, opportunities aligning, people showing up at the perfect moment. This isn't magic, it's coherence. You've aligned with the deeper flow of the universe, and now life begins to respond to you as if it recognizes you. Because it does. You're no longer moving through the world as a fragmented self, you're moving as the whole. And the whole always supports itself. But you must stay vigilant. Because the old self, the ego, the programming, the fear will try to reclaim its throne. It will try to pull you back into separation, into the narrative of me and them, of not enough, of I need more. This is where your practice becomes your lifeline. Meditation, breath work, presence, nature, stillness. These are not luxuries, they are necessities. They are how you remember. They are how you stay rooted in the Omega. Build rituals around your remembrance. Protect your inner space like it's sacred, because it is. Guard your attention like it's gold, because it is. Attention is the currency of consciousness. Wherever you place it, you are feeding life or illusion. Choose wisely. And here's something few will tell you: you will feel alone at times. Not because you're truly alone, but because you've left the collective trance. You've stepped outside the matrix of normalcy. You've unplugged from the consensus dream. And while this is beautiful, it can also feel isolating. But let me reassure you, you are not alone. There are others, many others, who are also awakening. They may not be loud, they may not be on stages, but they are here, quietly anchoring the light, silently rewriting the frequency of the world. And when you meet them, you will know. Not through words, but through presence, through energy, through the silent recognition of, I see you. And that moment will remind you, We are doing this together. So what now? Now you live, fully, fiercely, authentically. You stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect version of yourself, the perfect plan. You realize that this, right now, is the moment, this breath, this body, this life. You begin to create not from fear but from inspiration. You begin to speak not from performance but from truth. You begin to love not to get but to give. And in doing so, you become unstoppable. Not in the old paradigm of domination, but in the new paradigm of presence. Because nothing is more powerful than someone who has remembered who they are and is no longer apologizing for it. That is the Omega embodied. That is what the world needs now more than ever. And finally, let me leave you with this. The Omega power is not a destination. It is a relationship, a lifelong dance, a sacred conversation between your soul and the source. There will be days when you feel disconnected, days when the fire dims. That's okay. Return again and again. The path is not linear. It spirals, it deepens. And every time you return with more wisdom, more humility, more love. So don't try to be perfect. Be real. Be present. Be devoted to your own awakening, not as a project, but as a prayer. Because when all is said and done, the only thing that will matter is how deeply you lived, how fully you loved, and how courageously you remembered the Omega within you.